Life.
Watch the video. You saw the title. If you want to know WEN things will moon, then pay attention.
By the way, none of this is financial advice, poophead.
Hey, Myers friends, community members, traders, everybody, what's going on tonight? So, the bottom line is that we're going to take a look at the stock here in a bit, but Mara, Mara stock drops as AI expansion plan fails to calm bloated net loss. Mara, in my opinion, although a lot of these people are going to, go to these things where they're doing various other things, where they're expanding away from Bitcoin mining, and some people are speculating why. I get it. The halving's coming. They're going to go from 3.12 Bitcoin per block to roughly 1.5 Bitcoin a block, 1.6, somewhere in there. So they're going to get less Bitcoin. So, and it's going to be a little bit harder, not much. Okay. But this is from StockTwits. I'm going to give you a key point breakdown and kind of, where's that? Mara reported a net loss of $3.31 per share against expectations of $2.34 a share. Reports unrealized tied to its 38,689 Bitcoin holders. Yes, they're a mining company, but they're also a trust company, for trusteeship for Bitcoin. Energy cost per Bitcoin was roughly $40,047 in Q1 in 2026, up from $35,728 in Q1 of 2025. Year over year, it cost them more to make one Bitcoin than anything else, which is, if you're looking at the miners, it's costing everybody out there a little bit more. Electric costs are up, even though they have their own style of power generation out there in Texas. Mara stock dropped 4% after hours after the Bitcoin miner reported an 18% drop in revenue and higher than expected losses as investments in power and AI data centers did little to offset harsh Bitcoin mining economics. Right. For the quarter, March 31st, 2026, Mara reported an adjusted net loss of $1.3 billion or 3.31 per diluted share against expectations of an adjusted loss of $2.24 per share year over year. So they lost more this year than they did last year. But you have to keep in mind that Bitcoin is down a little bit more, or somewhere about the same. We'd have to look at the chart on that. Okay. So obviously the total revenue fell 18% and to $774.6 million, down from $213.9 million in the year-over-year period, with the crypto mining company attributing the decline largely to an 18% decrease in the average price of Bitcoin and a slight dip in total Bitcoin production. I kind of just mentioned that. Okay? Mara announced, I'm going to jump through here real quick. Mara announced the acquisition of Logridge Energy and Power, which includes a 505 megawatt power plant and 1,600 acres of land for a premier data center campus in its effort to shift to AI data centers. I just kind of said that, right? I don't really, the retail sentiment, of course, on Mara is bullish. If I was going to buy a stock right now that mined Bitcoin, it was attached to it, there's only two that I would grab. Mara, well, three. Mara is one, and I would grab Hive is the other one. Okay? I'd also look at Riot blockchain as well, but it's the way it goes. But the bottom line is, if you look through here on this, at the bottom here, the stock jumped 49% year over year, and that's kind of where the cookies crumbled at the moment. So currently, Bitcoin is at $81,603. It's been as high as $81,767, as low as $81,595. People, folks, what they're waiting for this Bitcoin this week is the Clarity Act. They're wanting it to get it signed, and banks are tripping. They're tripping balls, right? They are freaking out, trying to lobby against this thing because they can find better yields in crypto than the banks are willing to pay out to you, the customer. And they don't like that because they're used to holding all the beans in their corner. So, on that note, let's jump into the next part real quick where we review my mining rewards for the last 24 hours. Currently, the hash rate, as you can see on the mining farm over at Brains Pool, hosted by Corex Hosting. Look it up, Google it, Corex Hosting on Google, and get yourself mining for some passive income. Talk to Nathan. He'll hook you up. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Okay? The current 1 hour average is 508 terahash. The last 24 hours is 513.6 terahash, right? Currently in the wallet, we have $186 in Bitcoin, right? That's the pool wallet over at Brains, all right? As I jump over here real fast, as of yesterday, average hash rate overall was 509.2 terahash. We earned slightly less than 0.00.24. So if you look at it behind the decimal, 3 zeros, 23660. That's where we're going with that. I am extremely happy with this. Okay, this means to me that sometime tonight I'm going to add another 2 here and possibly another 3. So 2 and 2 being 4, and you add 1 more is 5. That means by Friday I'll be at 0.003 easily. No questions about that. So let's move straight into the stocks, since that's where we're going. And that's what I'm here for you guys. So looking at the after hours market, so that if you want to reflect on something for in the morning, this is kind of my watch list. I can't trade BuzzFeed, but if you take a look at the numbers, BuzzFeed pre-market this morning on the 11th was 82 or 80 cents. It's jumped almost a whole entire dollar, up 126% going into overnight trading. The high was 185. I think this could retrace back a little bit more. It's back 20 cents now. A high was 227, so in after hours in the post market. So there's some room to grow here if you're after this. My next pick is VCS. This is tied to the SpaceX IPO, Anthropic IPO, OpenAI IPO, and one more. This thing is moving. If you like these types of venture capital, type things, this is for you, for sure. As you can see, the pre-market was at 236, and we're currently cruising as high as 328 in the overnight session. Right now it's 315.11. This has been going for the last couple of days. It'll probably continue for a couple more as far as that's concerned. The other one I'm kind of watching here with a higher float is Plug. And the reason why I'm watching Plug is that it implies a move of 16% to post earnings. Okay, they beat, right? And though cash burns and remains a concern, like it says, it's cruising. So this is something you could look at. It's pretty much where we're at. I give you 3 solid ones. I don't have anything offhand that's off, where we're at as far as that's concerned. So let's look at the trade that I made here last night about this time, or a little later. As I mentioned that RXT yesterday, and right, so I jumped in with 189 shares. I got out 44. I got in at 484 at the 189 shares just to play with it, right? I was in and out. This is a quick 6 cents on 189 shares. I didn't make a bunch of money, but I'm happy with the trade. I can't complain at all. It's working out super great for me as that one. So I'm going to move straight into my next one from there, and you guys can kind of get the idea where we're going here. I'm going to make this as fast as I can. Seriously, this was a hopper and a mover, and it really did. By the middle of the day, it was at about 11 o'clock this morning from our 11 o'clock last night. It popped up 576. It was back 5. Look, this thing has been up and down. It is turned into a long position for my IRA, so there's that. All right, so guys, what we're looking at is, I mentioned VCX earlier. This is super awesome sauce. I got about $12 back out of this. right? So I had that loss in that last week, right? I jumped in here at 254.80, right? And 5 shares. It's expensive, so you kind of want to watch your P's and Q's. I was trying to spread everything out. I went 10 for 10 today. Everything I trade, even as low as 24 cents at a profit, is still green or black. You're positive. It doesn't matter. You don't lose in that one. So, yeah, 254.80 on this one here. And my exit there was at 256.05. Super smooth. I loved it. That's that. That was in and out. I couldn't complain. I was only, 4 minutes later, something to the extent of that. Then I went back here again, right? And I could only afford 3 more about a half hour later at 232.25, right? And to finish out my trade here on this one, right? You had to have patience with this, right? And you, judging by where the price is right now, you really would need some patience to stay around it this long. 234.25. I did okay. I can't complain. I felt comfortable. The MACD was negative on this, as you can see. She pulled all the way back here to like 224, right? And still went ripping back up all the way to 245, 246. Again, I probably could have held a little bit longer, but why am I to complain if I made money on it? Makes no sense. So I started on this. This is the first thing I did this morning when I started trading, right, guys? I was having fun. I picked it up here at 567. We'll round up 562, 554, right? 10 more, okay? 542 and 537.50 more. So I split this up. I split it up, as you guys can see, right? I sold both of this. This is 180 here, 180 there. So what do you got, right? What's that, 40? 340? 350, right? Yeah, and then I sold the last. So, yeah, like 353, right? So you can see that. My cost average was, I do believe, 552. So I had to make a quick exit on that first one. It was nice. I got a couple dollars out of it. Couldn't complain. And that's just right up here at this top. As you can see, it started to pull back here towards 460, which was kind of the bottom pre-market. I grabbed 150 at 490. All right, and I left that little bit there for 5 cents and a 5 cent gain on that. It's 150. You guys can do the math on that. Real simple, right? I did not have another trade from what I can see for the rest of the day, and it really didn't truly recover. Honestly, as you can see by the price, it ended up down, even though it was like number 5 this morning. So there you go. My next one, of course, is Fastly. This thing can be a real mover when it wants to pop, okay? The float is kind of large, but it is a mover, let me tell you. Jumped in here on 50 shares, 20.93, and then I was out 10 cents later on 50. So I got, a quick $5, right? Who's going to complain about $5? It doesn't really get you anywhere for your gas tank anymore, but the fact is $5 is $5, and positive gains compound. You don't always need 20, 50, 70 cents to make money on some of this stuff. 2 cents or more is all you really need, guys. 2 cents or more. Think of it that way. Common sense will win every time. Well, as I mentioned in the watch list last night, I did do Hellport AI, and I started out with 200 at 139, 139, right? And just kept adding 139, 139, 138, right? I had 139 by the time I was done on average, and it really wasn't moving, so I left that first 400 right there and took a walk on 400 for a whole, $4. It wasn't a big deal there, but then I went back and tried again. I grabbed 500 at 133, and again, it was a penny and a half, 2 cents on 500. I think I got another $4 out of this whole thing. It was quite the train wreck. It didn't play out kind of the way I wanted to. I think in the end, if I remember correctly, I may have gotten 17 cents out, or $17 in total out of this. As you can see, it just wasn't happening. It really wasn't for me at all. I think I may have something from the previous night as well. I don't see it. So, yeah, it wasn't a great one, but it's got a reasonable float, and if I see it again, I'll probably play it again. Well, guys, shout out to Captain RM. All right, RM, there you go. Ahoy to you, matey. He made a quick suggestion. If you guys are looking for an ETF, Team of Space Innovators, they're tied in with ticker NASA. They're tied in with the SpaceX IPO. This was really easy to follow because if you look left, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Means it was oversold right there. See, the MACD is positive, volume is positive. The next one was red. Drop, pull back, right? Super simple. Even though the volume on that last candle was kind of dead, that little pullback right there was just enough to convince me that I should grab some. And I didn't have a lot of money there at 10 o'clock this morning because, like I said, it was the end of the day for me. I did do one more trade later in the day with what little I had. I'll show you what that is. It'll be the last trade of the day. These are in no particular order, and none of this is financial advice, by the way. Oh, also before I forget, if any of you are looking for any discounts for anything, for Moo for signups and getting bonuses, crypto mining supplies, look in the description below. All right. So $33.49 on 25 of them, right? And $33.56. We were what? 6 cents? 7 cents? So I took 7 cents on this. I did okay on 25 of them. What is it, like $2? Didn't hurt me one bit whatsoever. No one's going to complain here. Now, out of all the semiconductor stocks that are out there, this is the one I really like, NVTS. I love this thing. It makes for a great day trade, a great long, and a great swing trade. So if you want to hold it and keep it, it's excellent. Just my opinion. Again, low on cash, right? You can see 11 o'clock, kind of, blah, blah, blah. Kind of expensive, right? Grabbed 4 cents on it on 6 of them. That was 24 cents. We could do the math on that. But it's positive, and people are like, why are you wasting your time on 24 cents? Listen, if you're ahead, it compounds. And remember, as a person that does momentum trading, I'm trading the momentum, I'm trading volume, I'm trading the order book, the order flow. I'm not trading the chart per se. So an in and out for me was really well. One of our community members joined me on this trade as well, and she did pretty good. I can't complain. Shortly thereafter. So shout out to her. And let's see what else we got here. I think we got the best for last. When you press that button that you really didn't want to press, on your keyboard, and it's the wrong one, it doesn't really matter. It's okay. So I start out here on PRSO because shout out to Mike, by the way. He reminded me, and the alerts were going off that this one was kicking up. So I grabbed a quick 500 at 117, roughly 921, just before the market opened. And people say you don't want to be in a trade before the market opens or when the market opens. It didn't matter. I went back and I went to add 300 by accident, and I ended up not get filled on all these. I put in for 2,300 at 113, so I was at about 112, somewhere in there. When this closed out, of course, everything was. I made 4 or 5 cents on this, right? So I clicked up about. Overall, I got a quick $70 on this when the market opened. It was bam, bam. In 9 minutes, I was in and out. Sold, 2,169 shares, and I was super happy. I went back in again, right here with 598 of them at 953, as you can see, and I went back and bought 2 more to make it an even 600 right here at 121. You can kind of see where I'm going here. And I was out at 122 for a total of 600. So you have 3 cents, roughly, 2 cents. And that was pretty good. I can't complain. I went back and forth on this a couple of times. but I really didn't go batshit crazy. I was up by the end of this about $90. So it worked out really, really super well for me. I can't complain. So I mean, this was kind of predictable because it had just popped off the high for the morning. 129, 919. Everything before that was kind of dead, right? There wasn't really anything going on. It hit like 111, and it just started kicking up. So you got one pullback after one, and then the third one down here, which I was very comfortable in doing. And then I seen it slide a little bit more, so I took a chance, had a little patience, and then when it started to tick up a tad, I said, okay, fine. It looked like it was going to pull back here, and then it had that long wick down here to 110. I was able to get the rest of them for 113, and then you can see my exit there for that, roughly 4 or 5 cents on that. That was super. This worked out great for me. I love it. I was in and out. This is awesome. I mean, you can't go wrong. Now, 2020 being hindsight, probably could have held a little longer if I wanted to, but I'm here to trade the momentum, the moment, the order flow, the volume, not all the other craziness. So overall, as we come to a close today, as you can see, combined total NAV, I was up $243.16 or 1.1%. It was roughly 160 or 170 just on the cash account alone. So I'd say this is a successful day. There's no question in my mind that the 11th of May was good. So I know this is a rather long video because I consolidated everything all into one. And I did do one more trade with GoPro, right? And I only had, 5 shares or something of that nature, right? Or $40 worth. So something small. I went in at 165. It's GPro is the ticker. That's the other one I would keep my eye on, by the way. At 165, I was out at 169. I made a 2.5% profit on that. So it's all good. It's all good. I did leave that out, I do believe. But when you have nothing but positive, that's that. Don't get me wrong. If I have a bad day, I'm going to tell you. So on that note, here's a message from our sponsors. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. I hope that you do well in the market. And we do have a special spot in a Discord if you want to join us. Outside of that, it's mostly a bunch of buddies. Just saying. We're like that. So, on that note, you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one. Hey friends, Will here from PelishCrypto&More. When you guys are out looking for big boy ASICs to bring in some real big hash rate, head on over to megaminer.market. That's right. So if you're looking for pricing, they give you an updated price list on the daily from where it ships from. And you'll never pay any tariffs whatsoever. As far as that's concerned, most of these ship stateside, new and used. If you want to go learn.megaminer.market, you have more information about them over there. If you're looking to contact them, you can use Telegram as it's listed here. I regularly work with Alex or Nick. No question about it. You can click on the About tab and you can talk to Nick or Alex or even Trenton if you want. Abe, any of the guys, they're very super helpful. They can also provide you with hosting if that's something you're interested in. So check out megaminer.market today for not only your big boy ASICs, but some of your home mining ASICs as well, like the AlphaPex DG1 Home and some of the smaller Canon products as well.